All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Good. All right, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me a little bit. We're gonna do some of this over a slide screen presentation, and then I'm gonna break down some real hard numbers for you guys and give you some really strong scripts around profit share and profit share conversations that you guys need to be having. So we're gonna jump right into it. Share my screen real fast here. Okay. All right, can everybody see this?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So this is from Keller Williams. This is the from Keller Williams University, the profit share. And we're going to kind of go through some of this stuff and really understand what profit sharing is. So what we're going to do is we need to figure out a plan around how we're going to approach profit share. How does it work? How do you build your tree? How do you help others build their tree? Okay. And so before we jump off on this real quick, why don't you guys just tell me, what do you guys know about profit share right now? Give me anything on profit share.
I know some people got some really huge checks the other day.
Say that again.
I know some people got some really huge checks the other day.
Some people got some really huge checks. Well, yeah, and we hope everybody gets huge checks, right? What do we know? What do we know about the details of why should I come to Keller Williams? What is this profit share thing? Okay, awesome. So that means sky's the limit, right? So let's look at where we're going to start with profit share. Come on. All right. So again, this is the Keller Williams University. So we want to know how you're going to build passive income, or what I like to call mailbox money. Okay. So you have to have a plan in place on how to develop your passive income. Why profit share? Profit share is a win-win, right? So what does that mean? So when profits are paid into the market center, okay, when profits are paid into the market center, it's actually called revenue. Profit only appears after expenses. And I'm going to go through this with you guys. So how do we get to profit? And what does that equate? So when we take into consideration the number of vendors that we have giving capital contributions to this market center, some of the other revenue streams that this market center has as a business, and then of course the bulk of it comes from what we call company dollar, or the 20% that agents pay into the market center. Now how this works is we take that accumulation of money, okay, and what we do is we go ahead and we take out the monthly expenses for the market center. As a result, the remainder is what we call profit. And profit is then shared between associates and the ownership group. And I'm going to break those numbers down in just a second. So give me 1 second here. All right. All right. So this is how it works. Sorry, I had to skip ahead on the slides unless you guys want to see the boring stuff. Okay, so whenever an associate joins Keller Williams, they name someone as a sponsor, okay? Whoever that person's sponsor is in their level 1 of that person's tree, okay? So what that means is, as an agent here, you're going to have many level 1 people that have named you as a sponsor. Anybody who names them as a sponsor is going to be your level 2, level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way down. Okay. And as we talked about, when they pay the company dollar, the market center is profitable. On the 21st of each month, the market center will distribute for the previous month. So May 21st was for the month of April. Okay. And this is outdated here. It says after 3 years and 1 day you're vested. Keller Williams has now switched it to 7 years and 1 day. That switch came after April 1st. So I apologize to those of you that signed up after April 1st. It's a 7-day vesting period. What that means to be vested is that you can go and do whatever other job you want. You can go work at another real estate firm like we've seen people do, and you will continue to get profit share. But that's only vested after 7 years. All right. And then, of course, you guys all can name a beneficiary in profit share as well about who goes and gets the money once you are vested. So I'm vested right now. My son is my beneficiary. God forbid anything were to happen to me, he would continue to get those checks for the rest of his life. All right. So what is growth share? So we have company Keller Williams offices outside of the United States and Canada. Okay. We have 833 offices in 44 different countries. As a result, anyone that's outside of the areas of the US and Canada is not in profit share. They're in what's called growth share. Now, growth share works a little bit differently. It's paid out quarterly instead of being paid out monthly. All right, with me so far? Any questions?
You go over growth share again? I missed it.
Yeah. So what growth share is growth share. Let me come back real quick. So growth share is where it's in any country besides the United States and Canada. Profit share is just for US and Canada, and it's paid out on a monthly basis. Growth share is for any other country, and it's paid out on a quarterly basis. Those are the major differences.
Gotcha. Thanks.
You got it. All right. So now we're going to talk about what it looks like to build your tree. Now, before we get into this, I want to stop for a second. The way that Keller Williams, those of you that have Keller Williams tenure on here, or have some experience inside of Keller Williams on here, what I'm going to tell you is that the old way that we were always taught to do this was say, talk about we've got profit share, and here we go. I'm going to go ahead and put you in touch with my team leader, and they'll take the conversation from there. And I really don't know anything about it, so on and so forth. So let me ask you guys a question. Have you guys heard the bold law, what you focus on expands? Please say yes. Okay, good. All right. So what does that mean to you? Deb, Sherry, you both raised your hand on that one. What is what you focus on expand means to you?
So if you, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if you want to concentrate on something, you will be able to grow it.
Sure. And so I think where Keller Williams learned a lesson was that we were telling our agents not to really worry about the particulars of profit share. So as a result, people weren't focusing on it. As a result, it wasn't expanding, right? We were saying, let's just let the team leader deal with that. Don't worry about it. And so as a result, we have a lackluster education around what the profit share program is. And today we're really going to dive deep into the numbers so you guys can understand it to a T, so you'll be able to calculate it yourself. Probably none of you will do that, which is also fine. Yet we're going to give you the knowledge behind it. And then we've got to dumb that script down. When we're talking to somebody from a different company, I can't start going, there's 7 levels, and the 7 levels go 50%, 10%, 5%, 5%, 7.5%, 10%, 12.5%. The people are just going to be like, well, what did you say? There's something about profit sharing? I don't know. So we're going to work around scripts, because when we better understand it, we're going to talk about it more. When we talk about it more, it's going to show up more in our world, because what we focus on expands. Make sense? Cool. All right, let's get back to the slides. All right, so this is what your profit share tree is going to start off as. This is you. You are the red dot. You're going to get a sponsor, okay? So there's you and whoever you named as sponsor when you came into Keller Williams. Then you've got your sponsor's sponsor. How far can you go? 7 levels, right? So you've got you and your sponsor. And now this is what's called your first level, where you have 3 individuals name you. In level 1 of the profit share tree, it is the first level. And I'm going to explain how that profit that comes into play. Understand that the profit is split 52% to the ownership, 48% back to the agents. It's not paid out to the agents across the board. It's paid out to the agents in direct correlation with the sale of that property. For example, Deb, you are underneath me. Sherry, you are underneath Deb. As a result, Sherry does a transaction. Whatever her transaction comes out to be of the company dollar that she paid into the market center, then we take out the expenses, then the profit gets split 52 and 48%. Whatever that dollar amount is that's left in the 48%, we're going to take Sherry's portion of that. So to make numbers easy, let's say the profit share is $10,000. Okay? That is the profit share amount to the associates. Let's say 10% of that was Sherry. As a result, that would be $1,000. So Deb, being level 1, is the 50% level. So Deb would be receiving a check for $500. Any questions around that? Okay, moving on. Now, as you can see, we've got Deb is the U. Oops, how did I do that? Deb is the U, right? I'm Deb's sponsor, so I'm your sponsor, Deb. And now in the first level, you've got Sherry, okay? Now Sherry goes and recruits in Cara and Madison. Cara and Madison both come in, they do their sales. Let's just say that that collective check is $1,000 again. Well, now Sherry's gonna be the one to get the 50% or the 500. Deb is gonna be the second level because Cara and Madison are technically in her second level. So as a result, she's gonna get the second level pay, which is 10% or $100. And now because I'm Deb's sponsor, Cara, Madison are in my third level. Sherry's in my second level. Deb is in my first level. And so of Cara and Madison's, I'm get 5% or $50. Cool? Makes sense? All right. I'm going to stop sharing for a second here. Oops. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and just don't mind the crudeness of this, we couldn't get the draw thing to work right. Before I break the easel, I'm going to give you guys the breakdown right now on what the 7 levels look like. So take notes out, okay? All right. So, company dollar, this money that comes in. Can everybody see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. So company dollar that comes in. This is what we call market center revenue. Now we're going to take out our expenses. We are going to be left with the market center profit. Are we good there? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy? You can tell I got kids. Okay. All right. Can everybody see this? I feel like you can't see it. All right. So, market center profit gets split 2 ways. 52%, 48%. Owners, associates. We've all got that part down, right? Okay. Now, look at this number right here, because that's an important thing that needs to play into your scripts. Most Fortune 500 companies will share 5, 10, maybe even 15% of their profit back with their employees. I don't know of any other company that shares back 48%. That's a big deal. You need to work that into your scripts when you're talking to agents about joining and coming over to Keller Williams, because that profit share amount is huge. All right. And then we know it's 7 levels to a profit share tree, right? Okay. So you got all that. I'm going to give you the breakdown on the 7 levels now. Okay, so the first level, 50%. Second level, 10%. Third level, 5%. Fourth level, 5%. Fifth level, 7.5%. Sixth level, 10%. Seventh level, 12.5%. Okay? Now, I'm going to give everybody a little cheat sheet for this, okay? There is a KW profit share video on YouTube. It is literally called KW Profit Share. That's it. Okay? And it is about a minute, 51 seconds long. You can go on there and watch and give you all the information that I'm giving you right here. So if you miss out on anything, write that down. Okay? Now, if you guys don't know these numbers memorized, okay, not a huge deal. And I'll be honest with you. I was on a top 200 mastermind with Gary Keller, and there was a lot of team leaders and OPs that couldn't answer this question. 50, 10, 5, 5, 7.5, 10, and 12.5. Commit it to memory or write it down so you have it so you can walk somebody through and explain to them, because the profit sharing that goes on at this level isn't the same as the profit sharing that goes on at this level. So most people want to put everybody in their first level. Yet what people don't realize is how it spider webs out. Most people that are doing this at a high level and making a lot of money make most of their money between levels 2 and 3. It's about understanding how it works and explaining it to somebody else so they can go out and help make sure that they're recruiting for the same exact thing. Okay, so why don't people recruit for profit share? Why wouldn't they? Give me some feedback. Why would somebody not recruit, purposely not recruit?
They don't like money.
They don't like money, all right?
They don't understand it.
They don't understand it. They do not understand how the system works and how it can benefit them and how it can benefit the people around them. Because if they
It
just
is a little complicated.
What's that?
It is a little bit complicated.
It is, and that's exactly why we're doing this today, right? One of the other reasons around why people don't go get profit share is their market center is not profitable.
Sure.
You guys are lucky enough to work in a market center that's in the top, not even 200, but in the top 100 of all of Keller Williams. We are profitable. Last year, we shared back $491,000 in change with just our profit share from Cornelius, Huntersville, and High Country. We shared that back. But again, that gets shared back with the associates that help to grow the market center. Now, can you grow a different market center? Can you get a recruit in a different state?
Yes.
Absolutely. You can have a recruit in a different country if you want. So where are you going to make more money? You're probably going to make more money at a place that's more profitable, right? So this is something that I used to get when I was worked down at the Ballantine office. Ballantine was the most profit-sharing market center in the world for Keller Williams. On average, an agent right now, a capping agent at Cornelius in our downline is worth about $2,500 a year in profit share. Okay? That's the ballpark, on and off, depending upon what month they join, so on and so forth, because of where the expenses fall. But it's about $2,500. Okay? Right now at Ballantine, a capping agent is worth $4,000 a year. So we would get agents from around the country that would send us leads to Ballantine because they wanted more profit share. So if Amber's my rock star agent, I know she's going to be a capper. Do I want to put her at South Park, where I'm going to be making $3,600 a year? Do I want to put her at Ballantine, where I'm going to be making $4,000 a year? Or do I want to put them at Cornelius, where they're making $2,500 a year? What market center do you think I would be referring them to?
Ballantine.
Ballantine, right? Okay. Now, are there things that we can do to increase our profitability here? Sure. Because, guys, it's a heck of a lot easier to recruit to the office that you're already at. People want to go with what they know. I really like Deb. So I want to go hang out with Deb at the office that she's at, and I feel really comfortable with Deb, so I know if I have any questions, she's going to be there to answer for me. So how do we increase our profit share? How do we do it, guys?
Recruit.
Our office.
Recruit for the office. Bring in producing agents. That's going to be the number one thing that we can do to increase our profit share. Shameless
And
plug.
retain.
Send me those leads, guys. Shameless plug. Okay. How else?
Retain them.
Retain them, right? You need to have
Yeah.
education classes like this, things that are going to get people to understand profit share and how to maximize it, because then they're going to want to stay. We provide value. What other areas can we get cash in from? Who gives us money besides the split?
Preferred vendors.
Preferred vendors. The stronger vendor program that we have, that plays in to profit share, because vendors can go ahead and take care of expenses, or they can go ahead and pay for things that the market center pays for, such as CES classes, so on and so forth. Regardless, it reduces down the expenses that we have. Make sense? Do you want to know one of the reasons why Keller Williams Ballantine is so successfully profitable?
I would love to know.
Vendors pay all their expenses.
They get, do you guys know how many vendors we have right now? Does anybody know? Take a
lot.
guess.
30,
Nope, not even.
20?
Right at about 22 right now. And the vendor program, I've ran the vendor program down there for 2 years, which is why I'm very adamant about this, because I know it. I started with 24 vendors, basically right where we are right now. Last I checked, they had 49 vendors. That's a lot of vendors. Plus, they have 3 home warranty companies, and they've also got 2 MSAs with Movement Mortgage and with McNaughton Clements. On top of all of that, their vendor program brings in over $100,000 a year. It's a 6-figure vendor program. Why do you think that those agents are making more money in profit share? It's also the reason why they probably had a party at Fahrenheit on top of the city for celebrating the end of the year. Okay, the vendors come and they play a huge factor in profit share.
So do we
Okay,
get to buy into
moving
profit
on.
in any way if we recruit vendors?
James, can you speak up? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my mic. Actually, I don't know where it's at on this laptop. Can you hear me better?
That's better.
If we recruit vendors, is there any way to participate in profit share if we haven't recruited agents?
No. That's just to increase the profit share that's already going on in the office. Should be something everybody wants to do.
Gotcha. I don't have any.
I have a
agents.
question too.
But I can bring you
When-
tons of vendors.
With the vendors, do they pay something to be a vendor at our market center?
Yes. So if you guys have any potential vendors that would like to join the market center, it's $650 a year to be a part, and that there is prorated with it being so late in the year. But I'm not going to speak to that because I don't want to get off on too much of a bunny trail here. Dawn Durning is our vendor chair and our commercial agent here at Keller Williams Lake Norman. So anyone you would refer to Dawn, and she will go ahead and set up a Zoom explaining the vendor program. Her and Rachel usually tag team that, and as a result, add a vendor into our program. Cool?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. So we're clear. Everybody understands the 7 levels of profit share now. Yes? Any questions around that? Okay. All right. Moving on. Moving on. Okay. So, next slide. What would profit share do for your family? Okay, so what can you guys do with some passive extra income? So first thing that I want to do is I want to set a goal around this, right? So if we know at our market center, let's just take that number, for example, at 2,500, the average agent being worth. Now that agent has to cap. They have to do everything at, if they're not hitting the cap, then you're not going to be getting the full 2,500 or there and abouts. Again, it's a rough ballpark number. Okay. What are you going to do, or what is going to be your goal that you're going to set to get to that number? What number do you want to hit? Well, what is our cap right now? Who can tell me? We're at an 80-20 split. What's our cap? Nobody knows our cap?
16,000.
16,000. Thank you. We also have something called royalty, right? What's our royalty?
6%.
6%. And where's it cap out at?
2.5 to 3 million.
No. What's the dollar amount that's paid in millions?
3,000.
3,000. So we got 16, we got 3, so we got $19,000, right? Okay, so now let's go back. If we know a capping agent in our downline is worth $2,500, and we have a cap that we pay in every year of $19,000, what do you think would be a goal that you guys would want to set for yourself?
You want a cap?
You want a cap? Well, what would be your profit share goal we're talking about? How much money do you want to get back in profit share?
At least 2,500.
Well, 2,500 per person, but if I'm paying 19,000 in every year,
I would want 19K.
Exactly. There you go, Carl. Right?
That would
And
be
so
good.
how does the math work out on that? If the average is 2,500, that would be $20,000, right? You put what is it? 8 agents, all at 2,500. That would be $20,000. So that would be my initial first goal that I would set for myself, is I want to make sure that whatever I'm paying out, I'm going to get back in return. And all that means is putting 8 agents in your downline that are cap status. Now, is every agent you're going to put in your downline cap status?
No.
No. Absolutely not. Can you go and cherry pick agents so that every agent you put in your downline is cap status?
You would be a really great cherry picker if you could.
Okay, so how do we identify those people, Cara? How do I know this person's going to be a capper?
You could recruit people from other companies who are cappers.
Bingo, right there. The most guaranteed way, that's how you cherry pick, right there. Now, Cara, I've never sold real estate before. Are you going to not put me in your downline?
Oh, no, you're going in.
You're icing on the cake, right?
Exactly.
So can you guys identify right now 8 cappers in our industry that work for a different firm that you could bring over to Keller Williams Cornelius or Lake Norman?
Yep.
Yes.
8 people. Now listen, what happens if you only bring 4 of those 8 people over?
If they're cappers, at least you know you can get back half of what you brought in, but you also could encourage them to bring in people as well.
Bingo. See, this is what happens whenever you guys, and Cara, I don't know if you're reading off my notes here or what, but whenever we bring in a capper,
No.
first of all, you're going to get guaranteed that you're going to get some money for that capper. And as a result, if you only bring in 4, you're going to get half. Yet what you guys aren't thinking about is, are capping agents or leading agents in other firms, are they influencers? Will they influence other real estate agents?
Totally.
Absolutely they will. So when we bring over a capper, we usually see 2 more people come over from the same firm. And who are they going to name as their sponsor when they come over, those other 2 people?
The person who brought them in.
They're going to name that capper that you brought in. So Cara brings me from Allen Tate, and I've got some friends over there at Allen Tate, and they say, PJ, why are you doing this move? And I show them why I'm doing the move, and they say, oh, well, we want to do that too. Yet they're not cappers. I got 2 half cappers. Okay? Now I come in, I'm worth $2,500 to Kara, and then she's got 2 half caps. But remember, now that's her second level, so that's at 10%, not at the 50%. So maybe those guys are worth about $500 a year to her. As a result, she's still getting an extra $1,000 kick or something like that. And that's where it starts to spider web out. That's where you get the real advantages. You can go and recruit all day long new agents or friends that don't work in the business and get them into the business. You're only ever going to get one unless you get somebody who has a recruiting background and goes out and gets a ton of recruits. Yet if you can get the head of the snake, the rest of the bodies, or most of the rest of the body, is going to come with it. And now that's how you really can grow profit share trades. Make sense?
Completely.
So how are we going to build our tree? It's the same thing. It's the 4 C's from the Ignite class, right? We're going to connect. We're going to capture. We're going to cultivate, or we're going to close, right? So we need to build rapport with these people, right? So who else could you go to? So we already talked about brand new agents. If you guys want to become a part of the growth committee, you talk to Deb Augustinelli right here on our Zoom, and she can get you and let you know when our meetings are going, their meetings are going to be. And once you have been in the growth committee meetings and you've given a couple of presentations, some practice runs, you can go and speak to the schools where you can go and get people recruit to your downline that way. Okay. Again, any other agents that you do cross sales with, like Kara already told us, even past clients. Lucy Mullane is a K-Dub Valentine agent, solo. She rocks it out. She does probably about $6 million a year by herself, and she has another full-time job. She was one of my past clients. And guess whose downline she's in?
I'm guessing yours.
Now, she's not mine. I put her in Jenna's downline because Jenna's one down from me. So I get 10% and Jenna gets the lion's share of 50% because I wanted to help build Jenna's downline for her. You guys say, oh, well, PJ, that's dumb. You're losing out. Well, it is what it is. All right. So what do we say? How do we have this conversation? I just gave you guys a ton of information around what profit share looks like, but how do we actually have that conversation? How does somebody going to understand what profit share? Well, I'm at this other company over here, okay? And this other company, they do revenue share, okay? And revenue is before expenses are taken out. So we get to make more money over here. And it's 7 levels because there is a company out there that does that, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about. However, do you know that right now, if I was a part of that company, I would only have, I have 14 people in my downline right now. You know, I would only have 5 in my downline if that was the case, because that's my first level is 5. This is the thing at those other revenue sharing companies, until you have 10 agents in your first level, you don't get to move to the second level. Also, by the way, those 10 agents, they have to be producing above $500,000 at least annually. And if not, they take away my second level. There's very few agents that actually get the full revenue sharing tree. It's really not that lucrative. It's lucrative for the few at the top. So right now, I want to go ahead. I want to recruit Deb. What am I going to say to her about profit share? What are the key points that I want to say? Deb, what would you tell me? Oh, Deb, you're muted.
Oops. I should have been muted. I'm sorry about that. It's a great way to build passive income.
Great way to build passive income. Tell me more about that.
Basically, if you bring somebody in, I always feel like I want to mentor them. And with that mentorship, you will be able to get money in your pocket without really doing anything else but that.
Okay. One thing I want to make clear, the sponsor is not your mentor though. I want to make that clear because I have 2 people in my downline that are in South Florida. And if they come to me and ask me to help them through a Florida contract, I am not going to know a thing. So that sponsor is not the mentor. We do have a mentorship program. All Keller Williams should, and if not, a PC program. But do not think for 1 second that that sponsor is going to do anything to impact that person's career. Also, do not be that person that says, well, name me a sponsor and I'll give you leads. Name me a sponsor and I'll give you my open houses. No, that's not the point of a sponsorship. Sponsorship should be the person who is directly responsible for you being introduced to Keller Williams. That's it, plain and simple. Okay? If you guys have questions or concerns around who's sponsorship, because this has spurred arguments and fights before, where people went ahead and put somebody down as a sponsor who was not their sponsor. This has happened in our office, actually, in years past, okay? That is not how we play nice in the sandbox. That is not how we take care of our own. When somebody doesn't have a sponsor, the sponsorship does not go to the team leader, okay? That's me. Don't get me wrong. I like sponsorships, okay? I like money. That is not what it's about. Sometimes just being that smiling face at the front desk, making a good impression, could get you a sponsorship. Right, Kara?
100%.
So make sure you're doing the right things, and sponsorships can kind of just flow to you as well. Yet, to build it fast and get aggressive with it, the best way is for you to sit, explain like Deb did, and then pass it off to me as a team leader, and I'll get it across the finish line for you. You guys are more than welcome when you do bring in a recruit to come in and sit down with me and hear what I'm saying to them. It may help you in your scripts and how you have conversations as well. Okay. So we start the conversation with them. We set up a time to meet, and I do a gift. Okay? So what I mean by a gift is typically if I'm talking to somebody who's going to be a capping agent, they're going to be bringing me in $2,500 a year on average. Would it benefit me to maybe bring them a $9 MREA book with me? Would that benefit me? It's a great little conversation piece tool that you guys can bring. Now, you guys don't have to do anything, but I'm going to take somebody to coffee. I'm going to bring an MREA book. I'm going to ask them if they've ever read the MREA book. If they haven't, I'm going to bring them that one. If they have read it or they have it already, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring them probably a copy of Shift, because that's what's coming up in our market right now. Regardless if they're going to join or not, I'm going to give them that because they're going to remember who gave that to them. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, that is going to be the way that I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to have the conversation. And I'm going to say, hey, Sherry, I know that you're happy at the company you're with, so on and so forth. Does your company do any form of profit sharing with you?
No.
No. Okay. See, at Keller Williams, we have this pretty cool profit share program. And so anyone that I bring into the company who names me a sponsor, when most agents just look at it as, hey, you're paying in 30%, 20%, whatever you're paying in. See, at Keller Williams, some of that money, portion of that money, goes back into a profit sharing fund that goes to the agents who are directly responsible for building the business. The reason I like this is because it doesn't just get shared with everybody. It gets shared with the agents that are actually growing the company. And that's what I want to do. I want to help grow the company. Would you like to sit down with my team leader and see what those numbers look like?
Yes.
And by the way, on average, the agents that we bring in, because as you know, we have a sliding scale with a 100% program. Once they get to 100% on average, the person in their profit share tree who recruited them, their sponsor, makes about $2,500 per agent every single year. How's that sound? So you see how I took all the meat that we had and kind of compacted it down into a simpler script to have, or a simpler two-way conversation role play? Does that make sense? Okay. So are you gonna knock it out of the park every time? Are people always gonna be, yeah, I want to join? Yes, no?
No.
Definitely so.
We would hope so, but probably not 100 for 100, right? I may be batting 50%. I may get 1 out of every 2, right?
Good.
That's not bad. Keller Williams average is 25%. So 1 out of every 4 that you go and have a meeting with will join. So if you need to get those 8 in there, how many people you need to meet with if you're going to convert at 1 out of 4? 32, right?
2, yeah.
32. So that's like 3 appointments a month about recruiting. And if your conversion actually, once you start getting good at it, well, you'll get to 50% probably. And there you go. That'll put 16 in there. Now what's your world look like? What happens when we get to the 20,000 or the 19,000 and hit our number, and then we actually go beyond that? Now, Keller Williams essentially is paying us to sell real estate. So when somebody asks you, well, what are your splits, right? Everybody's going to say, I've got an 80-20 split. What if you said, well, I make anywhere between about 102 to 105% commission? People say, how do you make over 100% commission? Well, I hit my cap. I become 100% commission at that point. Okay, but what about before your cap? Well, before the cap, I have a split, but that dollar amount caps out at 19,000. And right now I'm bringing in 22 to 24,000 with my profit sharing. So as a result, I'm actually above. So it's like every single deal I do, I get paid 102% or whatever. I'm just making up numbers. How powerful is that conversation? Whenever anybody asks me, well, how much do you make? I always said, I make over 100% on every single deal. You want to know more? Let's sit down. I'll explain it to you. Let me walk you through what those steps look like. Yet the problem is, a lot of us will just say, we got an 80-20 split. Don't even talk about the cap. Don't even talk about going to 100%. We got an 80-20. That's it. We need to start telling our story better. We need to start knowing this information stronger so we can tell our story better. Make sense? Okay, so what are some tools that we can use when we're having these conversations? We already talked about giving them a book, right? What tools could we use?
You.
Me,
Yeah.
right? Insert joke here. I'm the biggest tool you know, right? Okay. I should be brought into every conversation you guys are doing. Just simply send, James just did this. Just send an email, right, James? With connecting me with a possible recruit for you. We came in, James sat in on the meeting. We had a meeting. James is working on putting this guy into his downline. And the guy's also going to be one of our guests coming to Mega Camp. And he's about a half cap, right, James? He's at about half cap, I believe, from the numbers I looked up. So that is instantly going to guarantee James that every year, even if this guy stays where he is, that's going to guarantee James $1,250 on average in his pocket.
Oh, he's half cap, barely trying. He's got a videography business that he does on the side, but with COVID, he's been focusing exclusively on real estate. He's killing it the last couple months.
Well, and so what happens if he could leverage his videography business on a manager and get back to focusing on real estate? Then what happens? See, that's the thing. A lot of these people that go to these other companies and don't have the training like Keller Williams has, they've just luckily fallen into business. If you guys can bring some value add to them, they're going to definitely switch over to Keller Williams because there's value. So where do we find value add? I said, I'm the biggest tool you guys have got. Great. Awesome. What about coming to a team meeting? What is a GPS or a 411? You guys know? Great opportunity next month, shameless plug for Katrina and the Productivity Coaching Program, to take the GPS 411 class. The GPS stands for goals, priorities, strategies. Is also what used to be known as a 135 in our company. You have one goal, you have 3 priorities, and you have 5 strategies around each one of those priorities. That's the GPS. The 411 is going to be the breakdown of how you get to the GPS, how you get to that goal. My annual goal, my monthly goal, my 4 once-a-week goals, 411. What if we started having those conversations with recruits? When you start building rapport where you find their love language, just like you guys do with your buyers and sellers, investors, same exact thing. You got to build rapport. You got to break those walls down. We talked about bringing them a book like the One Thing, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Millionaire Real Estate Investor, Shift. What are their goals? Where do those people want to, where do they want to come from? Where do they want to go to? Do they want to add investment properties? Right? Okay. So, can I give you guys a quick little script to use? What is the best way to open up this form of conversation? Pick the last person you did a cross sale with. Okay? And all you have to do is, hey, Sherry, I love doing transactions with you. You're awesome. I told my team leader, PJ, just the other day, how great of a cross sale agent you are. And he wanted to call you and thank you for being a rock star in our industry. If he gives you a call, will you promise to take his call for me? It's a great thing to have a conversation after we've completed a deal with an agent. Okay, now I'm very rah-rah. You're awesome. You're a rock star. That's me. Maybe that approach needs to be a little bit different based off of the person. James, I really appreciate the cross sale that we did together. And I just wanted to thank you. I know we had a couple of bumps in the road there, but I appreciate somebody who can help get it across the finish line and do it the right way. I wish there was more agents like you in our industry. So thank you for that. By the way, I was actually talking about you with my team leader the other day, and he's of the same mindset. And he wanted to give you a quick buzz and just, thank you for doing it and toughing it out. And, sometimes real estate transactions aren't so easy. If he gives you a call, will that be all right? Pick up the phone for him when he calls. However you guys feel more comfortable to have the conversation. That's the point. The point is get them in front of the TL because that's going to be your best bet for conversion. Now, can you do it on your own? Absolutely. Go right ahead. In years past, we were told, nope, you just go to the TL, right? This is the thing that I'm going to tell you guys. Be very careful of whenever you're talking to a recruit. You do not talk negatively about the company that they are working at. You will lose every time. I promise you that. You need to go ahead and talk about the positive things that are going on at Keller Williams. That needs to be your focus. If that's not your focus, you're going to lose. I promise. Then, what do you guys need to do after the fact? How do we get, what happens? They leave, okay, they're done. That's it. Now what?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I sent a thank you note.
Thank you note.
Yeah.
Some form of follow-up is what Sherry's telling us, right? A way to stay in touch. You guys put drip campaigns on your clients. Why don't you do drip campaigns on your recruits as well? Okay. Let's open it up for some ahas and some questions. What are we missing? This is a safe place. No stupid questions. No right, wrong, indifferent. What questions do you guys have around profit share?
I've just got a few high points that I can include when, I've got people in the Huntersville office that come in.
Yeah, please share your ahas as well, please.
I like the fact that, we're sharing 48% of our profit as opposed to Fortune 500 companies that share 5 to max 15%. I also like the way that you equated it with recruiting 8 capping agents to cover your cap. I like that too.
Change the way you look at things you look at change, right?
Right. And most of the new agents I recruit in are looking for training. But, we generally start the conversations, what are you looking for? But most time when they're new, it turns out to be the training. But this is a nice piece also to put in place in case they're out there shopping.
Absolutely. Because if they're talking to us, chances are they're talking to somebody else.
Oh, they're talking to Alan Tate right down the road.
And this is the thing. When somebody comes to you and says, hey, Cara, tell me about Keller Williams. Oh, I got a recruit coming in. If they're coming to you, they're talking to 6 other people. I promise you that. So make sure we know how to have the conversation the right way, right? Cool. What else?
I may play that YouTube video in my team meeting. I'm on profit share.
Yeah, it's just KW Profit Share. It's like a minute 52. And we didn't have a great turnout for this class. And I think that's because we had a PC class going on at the same time. But I will make sure to share that as well at our next team meeting too. So
I will watch that and see if I'll put that in team meeting, if not into masterminds.
perfect.
For the rest of you, I'm in Huntersville.
Sherry Wooten is our broker in charge in Huntersville, for those of you who don't know.
Otherwise, this is kind of a weird conversation.
Who's that Sherry lady, PJ? All right, was this helpful, guys?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, very helpful.
It
Good.
was.
Good. I said I was going to keep it to an hour, so I want to respect your time. But if you guys have any other questions right now or later, just shoot me an email. The best way for you, and I'm going to say this again just for the record, the best way for you to connect me with a recruit is to send an email to me and the recruit doing an introduction. Okay? That's the best way for me. Guys, you make it an amazing day. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thank you, PJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.